Let's call the BATA Board of Directors meeting to order this Thursday, December 7th, and actually 13:01, which is 1:01. Is officially called to order. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Brittany, roll call if you would, please.
Richard Cochran,
Here.
John Somavilla,
Here.
Robert Budge,
Here.
Jamie Klinger,
She said she's running late.
Joe Underwood,
Here.
Heather Harris Reedy, here, Brad Sheets.
Here. With that done, our first public comment. Good.
Any interested party or person may address the board on any matter of greater concern during public comment. Comments will be limited to 5 minutes and a 1-minute warning will be given when needed. Any public comment that becomes disruptive, unduly repetitive, or impedes the orderly process of the meeting may be terminated by the presiding officer. Once you have completed your public comment to the board, the board may ask any clarifying questions. If needed, you will be assigned a member of BATA staff to follow up directly on any open concerns.
Comments? If not, let's move on to approval of agenda. I believe there's some items that are going to be added.
I got one, the minutes of the 12/5 governance committee minutes be added, and that would be agenda item 13.
No, 6G.
6G.
That's what we're wondering. So item 6G added to the consent calendar. That's minutes from the 12/5/23 governance committee meeting.
And also the appointment to fill the upcoming at-large seat vacancy, a 3-year term effective January 1st, 2024. That would be 13F.
Thank you. I will be adding item 13G, a resolution to declare that Grand Traverse County's proposed appointments to the BATA board would constitute a breach of the recently approved interlocal agreement, and to authorize legal counsel to take appropriate responsive actions. With that said and done, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So move.
A second.
I have all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. On to consent calendar. The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with in one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will automatically be respected if an item is not moved from the consent calendar. The action noted on the agenda is approved by a single board action adopting the consent calendar. Consideration of approving the following minutes: the regular board of directors meeting minutes of October 26th, 2023. Strategic planning minutes of the October 26th, 2023. Consideration accepting the following reports. Finance Oversight Team Notes, November 20th, 2023. Fiscal year 23 Q4 scorecard results. Board request tracker, there are no open items. And correspondence. And the minutes from the 12/5 governance committee meeting. There's no items to be removed. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to Kelly, front and center, if you would, please.
Yeah, great. Good afternoon, everyone. Just a few items to add to my report that weren't included in the written report in your packet. Wanted to just circle back on our strategic planning efforts and share what those next steps look like. So we left off with the full board, those in attendance, at the strategic planning session at the end of October with a draft of BATA's new mission statement and vision statement. The values will be, the final draft of the values will be updated by getting feedback from the staff. So our consultants will be back holding, I think they're going to do 3 or 4 different sessions to get as many of our staff members to come and go through the value selection process as possible. And that's going to be in mid-January. So our intention that we're shooting for is to have the final draft of the mission, vision, and values back to the board at the January regular meeting. So that's where we're at with strategic planning. I think most of you are aware, perhaps not all, but wanted to just share that Phil has given us notice that he is going to be going back to his previous position with the Road Commission. And Phil's been a really valuable member of our team over the last year, and we appreciate everything that he's done for us, and certainly wish him well back at the Road Commission. But just wanted to make that enough.
Billy, you've done nothing but a positive impact. Done some wonderful things, and I know I truly appreciate it. And it made a big difference.
Yeah, I think God put me here for a reason, and I moved my family up here with all the experience in road commissions and kind of developed a pretty unique skill set, and I'll be able to kind of use that to help not only Grand Traverse, but other agencies across the state as well, because I work pretty well with the other finance directors and other kind of things that kind of are changing over there. It was the right time for me too. So I really appreciate everyone here. I have a lot of respect for Kelly. I think she's looking from the inside, she's doing a lot of good things. There's a lot of great people, kind-hearted people here at this organization that I'll miss. And I'm going to be across the corner, so anytime anybody needs a hand, I will I'm more than happy to help out and assist and not let anything pile up for the next person, because, depending on their experience, it might be a little more challenging jumping into a role like that with government accounting, and they don't necessarily have that background. So be happy to, guide and offer assistance. So.
Really appreciate that, Phil. Thanks.
That's very important. We're going to need that.
Wanted to invite all of you to our staff holiday luncheon next Thursday, 12/14. Help me with the hours.
10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. If you can, I'd recommend like between 11 and 12:30. It'd be a good time to catch a lot of the drivers there
Okay.
in the barn.
11 to 12:30 or 2:30?
11 to 12:30 is a big time for a lot of the drivers there, but we'll be open until at least, 4.
Okay.
Do you need any board members to serve or anything, or?
I don't think we need serving at this one, but it is like an optional potluck. So if you have a favorite dish you want to bring, you're welcome to bring it.
And the potluck was recommended by our staff. They're the ones that wanted, we're providing like a ham, and Brittany's done a lot of the work working with the company to provide the food for our staff, and they asked if they could bring their favorite dish also, so to supplement what we're bringing. Really nice, yeah.
Yeah, that's always fun.
And then also just wanted to provide an update on the MPO's project selection. So at the November MPO meeting, the policy board did approve honoring the fiscal '24 small urban projects that had previously been selected before we became an MPO. And that included an allocation to BATA for technology projects. And I think that allocation is about $46,000. So just wanted to include that update. And with that, I think unless there are any questions, I think I'll invite Jerry to give the facility update.
Good afternoon, everyone. To bring you up to date, right now, we're still tracking under budget ahead of schedule. We're approximately 60% complete with the project to date. Transfer station, if you happen to have driven by, the walls are constructed at the transfer station. We anticipate the steel delivery first of next week, have that installed probably in the next 2 weeks at a very small building. Dumpster enclosure over there is completed. We already had the site work completed. Biggest asphalt down over there at the transfer station. The main facility, we're continuing to track, and that one also had a schedule, or under schedule, not budget. And we've completed a lot of the drywall work in the office areas. We're continuing the MEP rough-ins. We put some temporary protection in place at the north side, the overhead doors at the maintenance. Those are the only delay we had. The other overhead doors have been installed. That'll provide for good enclosure during the winter months. We anticipate those doors arriving sometime in February. You got temporary protection everywhere else, and then we have permanent windows installed throughout. We've got DTE scheduled to do the gas line installation in the next few days. And obviously they'll have to then come back to the meter. We can use natural gas to use temporary heat during winter construction. It's much better than the propane, so that's our intent. We've got the generator enclosure completed, and we're continuing to do all our what we call MEP and fire protection rough-ins inside the building. We've got some scheduled dates for some site visits coming up, and I will be available for those and answer any questions you might have right now.
Just looking great, Jerry. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're doing well. Chris, if you would, please.
Engaged in his report. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, just wanted to give an update as of today. We are really making great progress. We have a class that started on the 20th of November. We have 8 new drivers in that class. We have another class that we're almost running every 4 weeks right now. So we have another class that's starting December 18th, and we have 5 signed contracts right now with employees for that class. We already today are working with our trainer to set up a January class as well. So it's going well. We were able to bring back some service, our Bayline 4 back, make some, add some service to the that's in the Montessori and West area, and some link service back. So it's going well. I hope it continues. And we had 3 retirees recently that were expected. So there's always, we get bringing 8, and we have, it's unusual to have 3, but we had 3 retirees, and then we have a couple people that leave for January or part of the winter, maybe to go to Florida, that we approve, and they work when they return. So it's going well. Really appreciative of everybody that's jumping in and helping during the interviews, and some really good quality people. Eric, Kelly, and I meet with each new group of staff once they start. Within the first couple of weeks, we sit down and talk about our vision, mission, about BATA for a good hour, and they come to our comms meetings with all employees. So real pleased how it's coming along.
Are all the people you're needed, are they all drivers?
Yes. Yes. We do have, outside of this is really a driver report, but outside of that, we are currently hiring for a service area coordinator, which is a dispatcher. And so we've been interviewing for that one, but we have not found the right candidate for that position yet. So this is just the driver report. Pardon?
And also the finance director.
Yes. Well, and the finance director, we actually did last night, we began the reporting. We've identified about 15 different places that we can post and advertise in. We got 4 or 5 of those done last night and 4 or 5 done this morning. So we still have some more places that we want to get into, but we started already last night.
When is Phil's last day here?
The end of the month.
Yeah, I was gonna work through the end of the month.
Okay.
And I'll be available after
Right.
this one, so.
Thank you.
Chairperson's report. Well, I just want to thank Bob and Heather for their steadfast support and service to public transportation. You've brought a lot to this board. You've helped us succeed, and that's been demonstrated by the new facility that we are building. And just the overall success of BATA, how well we survived COVID. You're serving on the governance committee, Bob, Heather. That was something new that we really needed. That was the outcome of our outside consultant to make us a better board. And you two have diligently worked on that and led to the success of that. Bob, you've been kind of put through a meat grinder, but you stood fast. I mean, you didn't back down. You stuck with BATA and what you believe in, and that's very important. Anybody on this board should believe and support public transportation. Our ultimate goal is to deliver that.
Got a new mission statement coming up.
Yeah, we do. And that's another thing, it was great to have that strategic planning. I mean, that was absolutely wonderful. It was very refreshing. I think it was something that was overdue. And it's something that we have to look forward to every 4 to 5 years. Getting that all going again, taking a look at where we are, where we've been, where we should be going. So, just again, thank you, both of you, for your dedicated service.
Thank you.
And if any other board member would like to say something, please do.
I just want to say, as the newbie at the table, it's been my pleasure to get to know all of you and hold space with you and watch you work and hear all of your feedback. And so thank you for being present and, being here at the table at a really important piece of our community.
I have really appreciated the thoughtful ideas that you both have brought forth. Many of them we have implemented pretty immediately, and you're just really creative in suggestions that you think could improve BATA. So I really appreciate it on the hiring end of it and the recruiting, and I give you credit for a lot of the applications that we've been able to receive because of your good ideas. So thank you.
Thank you.
And that belt buckle means multiple awards.
And you're from Texas.
Oh, you got it.
So, well, that's, anybody else? Well, that's, on to, committee reports, the finance oversight team. We did meet, there are notes in here. There were several items that, were put on the agenda for consideration today, getting the diamond after Kelly and Jerry's gone, but after looking at the new facility, they actually came up with some additional storage space, so The issue with there not being possible enough storage, we got rid of the diamond property is no longer an issue, so we're gonna be putting that back on the market, and I think probably should go through it, I think.
Yeah, we can probably talk more about it.
About it when we get to that. And then also, the APC purchase, which that was actually, I believe, already discussed and approved to a certain extent.
Well, as part
It's
of the
being
overall,
funded.
as part of the overall technology plan that was approved a couple years ago, but we can, again, talk further about that when we get to the agenda items.
Yep. So that's, and the minutes are in there, so. Any questions or anything? If not, we will go on to the quarterly finance reports.
You want to do a governance committee
Yeah,
update? We didn't
yeah,
add
why
one to
don't-
the agenda.
Yeah, we
Well, yeah, it was added, the minutes are in here, the governance committee, we met on 12/5, discussed a few outstanding issues, including the recommendation that we're gonna see today of the at-large candidate, the ongoing outstanding incompatibility of office issue that we're in the middle of, and also concerns over board member attendance under the 75% outlined in the board's roles and responsibilities, so that was the topic of conversation. So,
Thank you. Phil?
All right, so last week, the Raymond sent their auditors in, and on Monday, they started field work. And Wednesday, they had wrapped up their on-site field work, so they're just kind of working remotely. Everything went pretty well. The only difference between the financials I have here and what you'll see in the audit are a couple of year-end accrual entries. There's a deferred revenue entry that I'm gonna go back and recalculate for them. And then also the net pension liability and some of those calculations. So those don't affect operating expenses, so the reimbursements we submitted to MDOT, should be okay. It'll just be one small change to the revenue amount and net pensions, which are all basically get back out as ineligible, if you will. So I do have the year-to-date income statement. If we could just kind of go through that quickly. You've seen this, typically see this in your monthly packets. Over budget, we fare box revenues continue to increase passengers. So we were end of the year at $557,000, which is $175,000 over the budget. Local revenue was the millage that we collected. We ended up collecting about 6% more than what the budget was. I think I kicked that up a little bit to about 3% for next year, for fiscal year 24. State operating and federal operating, that's reimbursements based on our operating expenses. We did some little things at the end of the year to get expenses into fiscal year 23 with that higher 18% ARPA funding. We paid off the unfunded liability on the defined benefit plan for the admin, which is about $489,000. And then we also, at that time, terminated the driver retention incentive plan. And October 1st, we replaced it with higher driver wages, driver and dispatch wages. So we're able to get those expenses in for the year and get that extra reimbursements from the state and feds. Overall, we had $14.1 million in revenue for the year versus 13.9 on the budget. And as you can see on the expenses, we were under budget on, wages due to, vacant positions, and it's primarily, trying to fill bus drivers. Their fringe benefits are over because of that extra first payment we didn't anticipate, but we had enough budget, so we went ahead and pushed that through. Fuel and lubricants, that was significantly down. Fuel prices have trended downward through the year, and even though our usage is up, we've just been getting favorable, pricing from the prior year, which was what the budget was based on. Overall, we had 10 million of expenses, and after depreciation, the net income for the year of 2.7 million versus a projected of 1.2 million. We want to go to the balance sheet, we're taking a net position. And I did notice one little formula on the change on Michigan class. It didn't go up a row, but the amounts in the 2023 column is correct. So at the end of the year, we had 1.6 million sitting in our independent bank. We had 14.6 million at Michigan class spread out among the various reserve accounts that the board has adopted. And let's see what else. For a total assets of 41.7 million. Again, that will change once we book our net pension numbers. Anybody have questions on? I mean,
No, just to thank you regarding the Michigan class, that was really your initiative, and we probably would have been still at switch on that one year.
Good returns, they're very diversified
Nice job.
and from an accounting standpoint, it's really easy, having,
Made about a
sub accounts that's solely what it is. That way the interest we're generating can continue to get funded into those, into those reserve accounts. And I kind of tweak the reserve schedules later on to kind of track all the activity in and out and, all the cash flow that ties with those reserves.
Yeah,
That's our interest bill, thanks to you, was about $500,000 higher than probably what it would have been.
Yeah, I think independent bank is about 3.75% when I look at their October statement. And class, we're getting about 5.5%.
Yep. That was
good move.
good move.
So in the reserve accounts, the operating reserve, we try to keep that, maximum of 30%. We're currently at 22% at the end of the year with a balance of $2.6 million. The ones that we regularly are using are the capital reserve and new facilities. For the capital, we currently have a $5.1 million balance in that. And you can see as we purchase throughout the year, according to the capital plan, we'll basically see reimbursements from this reserve fund that we replenish our checking account. So that's kind of how the cash flows through this. We don't write the checks directly out of class. The new facility reserve fund, at the end of the year, we're currently sitting at a little over $5 million. I kind of footnoted, we still have reimbursement from the housing commission that come through, and then the net proceeds from the sale of the land. So those will be future additions to this reserve fund. Currently, the facility's running under budget, so, barring any unforeseen expenses, there'll probably be about $1.5 million left over once the project is done. That could go back to your capital fund and be used for other capital items. You guys are sitting really good, right now.
Yeah.
And we did receive a $400,000 payment towards that.
Yes, we did.
$1,071,000 number from the housing commission.
There's a meeting is it next week, Kelly?
I think it is next week,
Yeah.
to finish.
Kind of wrap up with the township and housing and get that all buttoned up.
Excellent.
If there's any other questions, I'd be happy to entertain.
Hey Phil, what is the various owner direct amount on there, that $6,800? What's the various?
So that's stuff that's not running through the Chrisman contract.
Okay.
So like Progressive AE, Cunningham Lemp, we had to move a pole, at the site that wasn't in the original plans. There's 23,000, we ran through that.
Okay.
So you guys had adopted this budget that was $800,000 on top of the Progressive, because that was a separate line item. for the miscellaneous type of stuff. So Jerry kind of tracks that as they go through. There's some contingencies built into the Chrisman contract, you know, that's built in, and, you know, those typically, sounds like they won't be used, so that'll, you know, be extra costs that come back to us.
Perfect.
And finalize it in the budget.
Thanks, I just wasn't sure what various owner direct
Yeah.
was, so.
Yeah, and I actually have a schedule. I don't think I brought it with me.
That's fine, I wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah, I have a spreadsheet that I track, that Jerry tracks, and you know, we kind of keep each other in balance. Now, I'll be passing this on to Sean, our procurement manager. He's really involved in looking at the pay estimates. He's, you know, verifying the certified payrolls, and he's staying on top of this, and then submitting everything to MDOT through project-wise to get reimbursed.
Okay.
Working with him, so.
Perfect.
And by the way, Sean is a phenomenal asset. I mean, he took on this new role and it just dove in, and he knows more about procurement than the people at MDOT. I mean, it's.
Person you need.
I mean, he's really doing a great job, and I wish him the best.
Good.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept the fiscal year 23-24 finance reports as presented.
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Old business, there seems to be none. New business, resolution to recognize Heather Harris Brady, Director Contributions. Everybody has that as page 28 in their package. Yes, Brittany, if you would, please.
Resolution honoring Heather Harris Brady, whereas Heather Harris Brady served on the Bay Area Transportation Authority Board of Directors from May 30th, 2018 to December 31st, 2023. Whereas Heather Harris Brady served as a member of BATA's Facility Ad Hoc Committee, evaluating options and identifying the site for a new BATA headquarters facility. Whereas Heather Harris Brady advocated for thinking bigger in regards to BATA's need for a new facility, which ultimately led to the partnership with the Traverse City Housing Commission to co-purchase the land for workforce housing to be built adjacent to BATA's new transfer station. Whereas Heather Harris Brady's contributions to the facility project were integral to BATA's success in receiving $13,380,000 grant award from the Federal Transit Administration to fund the project. Whereas Heather Harris Brady served as a member of BATA's newly formed governance committee from January 22nd through December 31st, 2023, establishing and implementing several policies to ensure the effective operation of BATA's board of directors. Whereas Heather Harris Brady has consistently supported BATA's mission and brought forth ideas to better reach the public, elected bodies, and Leelanau County stakeholders. Whereas Heather Harris Brady has reliably and thoughtfully served as a BATA director, offering creative promotional concepts such as offering a BATA pass to be checked out from libraries, Bayline promotions to visitors, millage campaign ideas, and more. Therefore, be it resolved that the Bay Area Transportation Authority Board of Directors hereby honors Heather Harris Brady for her 5.5 years of dedicated service and leadership to the Bay Area Transportation Authority. Presented this day, 7th day of December.
All those in favor, roll call vote.
John Somavilla,
Yes.
Robert Fudge,
Yes.
Brad Jewett,
Yes.
Jamie Kramer,
Absolutely.
Heather, she doesn't do.
I'm gonna abstain.
Yes.
Richard Cochran.
Yes.
I have a theater background, you guys. Stand up.
be honest, I forgot this was something. But, you know, I said everything I wanted to say in the letter I put in the packet, and it's been my privilege to serve on this board, and I'm only one member of the board, but I tried to make a difference when I could, and I appreciate everybody's cooperation in the time that I've been here, and it's been my privilege to do it for all the amazing people that are at BATA.
Now you got me a little teary. The Diamond Drive facility, basically there's, the notes in the finance oversight team meeting.
I can fill in a little bit more with that too, so when we sought pausing the listing, direction was given to me to pursue the feasibility and the cost of adding additional storage on the new site, and so I did proceed with that. I felt really good about the feasibility when I learned from John Syke that it would be able to be approved through an administrative amendment, and considered a minor amendment to the PUD, should we need to do that. It's never been our wish to have two different sites. The whole point of going to the new site is to consolidate things and have one site. But I did want to make sure that we were in a solid position, not needing additional storage space, and that we had the capacity to do so on both the cost and the approval from the PUD perspective. On the cost perspective, we did look at several different options and are continuing to look at several different options. So I don't know. I can't say 100% that we don't need additional storage today, but I can say with 95% certainty that we don't need to build an additional building on the site to accommodate that. So I think that one thing that we can do as the walls were going up and we were starting to really get a good handle on the space and how that's going to be in real life and not just looking at a drawing on paper, we saw that there was one room in particular with a lot of unused cubic space. And we were able to plan out a mezzanine to be purchased to add about 640 square feet in that area. And that helps a lot because that was created during the value engineering process where we removed a mezzanine that was in the plan originally as a cost savings measure, which it changed a lot of things, including the roof height and the plan around that area. And so I guess I'm just explaining why it wasn't immediately obvious, because there were a lot of moving parts and it wasn't part of the original plan to have a portable mezzanine inside that room. And so for $54,000, which we, as we just talked about, have budget capacity within the project to fund, we can add a portable mezzanine within that space and still accomplish 636 additional square feet of storage space and get other storage up off the floor space, which will allow for some of those other bigger items like we were talking about that may potentially need to be stored that we don't have in our operation today. So anyway, long story short, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable about proceeding with the sale of the Diamond facility, and in discussing that with our realtors, they're recommending that we put it back on the market at a new listing price of $425. $390, I believe. $390, I think it was listed at initially.
Okay.
So, that's the recommendation.
Any further discussion, or can I get a motion we relist?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We'll get going.
Same rules as before.
Yeah. Automated passenger counts, the APC technology purchase. That was basically part of
So this technology item
package.
was part of the 5-year technology plan that was previously approved by the BATA board. This component was included as an option in the response to the RFP that we got from our CAD ABL provider, which is GMB Synchromatics. So this request is to exercise that option, in which we have fully covered with grant funds to make the purchase. So, if there's any other questions about the technology itself?
Yeah, once you
Eric
just
could
touch
probably-
base on the National Transit Database,
Sure,
what's
yeah.
different today than in the previous discussion?
Yeah, a year ago, you're right, a year ago, or whenever we last talked about the GMV proposal, we didn't know for certain that we were gonna be a small urban. That news came late and fast. And so, we do know, obviously now, that we are a small urban system, which requires a whole new suite of reporting to the National Transit Database. And so having technology in place to capture the data that is required in that reporting system is essential. It's a very, very cumbersome reporting process, even with the technology, but without it would be way too many man hours.
It's monthly reporting that we previously didn't have to do.
I'll make the motion. Purchase the technology.
I have a motion.
Support.
And I have support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You've also all been given a board member 2023 compensation form. And
I would just add to that if you are intending to waive your compensation, we can take your form today. If you're intending to take compensation, I would say we should wait until after the end of the calendar year, because there may be more meetings yet this year, so. You can collect them accordingly.
Do you need
okay. We have the executive director's 2023 performance review and merit increase.
This is going to be presenting the results of my evaluation.
This will go over that. So if you would.
Yes. First of all, thank you to those of you who took the time to complete the evaluation. It is a big responsibility as a board of directors to do this. It's an annual evaluation, and these are the people that filled it out. So I just go through each question. If you have any questions about it, I'd be glad to answer those for you. There were 3 categories that you could evaluate. One would be ratings. One was needs improvement, the second one was meets expectations, and the third one would be exceeds expectations. So so each category then is the average of what your scores were. So for example, the first question is question 2 is on leadership, and it was broke out into 7 different descriptors. The first one is inspires confidence, establishes credibility with board, staff, community, and others. The rating came out as a 2.5. So that means it was right between meets expectations and exceeds expectations, the average of all the scores. The second one was maintains a big picture outlook, and it is aware of industry issues, 2.83. So that means it was right at the end of exceeds expectations. Exhibits diligence in leading the organization, again, a 2.83 average. Solicits and acts upon ideas of others when appropriate, 2.67. Demonstrates excellence in carrying out job responsibilities and accomplishing goals, 2.83. Engages in learning and growth activities to improve job performance, 2.67, and participates in relevant and worthwhile professional organizations, 2.8. So, also then we asked for if anyone had any comments that they'd like to add. First comment that came was not sure the executive director participates in relevant and worthwhile professional organizations, as I do not know what organizations the executive director participates in. And I did mail to all the board members on October 19th, a listing of all the professional organizations and the accomplishments. So whoever wrote that, if you didn't read it or didn't get it or anything, but I did confirm that we sent that out, and I believe that came as a request from one of the board members here to do that. So I did send that out. The next comment was, it does not seem like Kelly belongs and participates in all. It does seem, sorry. It does seem like Kelly belongs and participates in all the relevant local organizations as well as industry organizations. And I appreciate her ability to manage this task with all her other duties. I think it was helpful to send it out. She does report throughout the year, but then the suggestion was made to do it, but send it out before this so that it was fresh in your mind. And no real insight into learning and growth activities and professional development organization was a comment. Question 3 was on strategy and planning and the factors underneath it. Promotes a proactive system approach to operational and strategic challenges, an average of 2.3. Accurately assesses BATA's current and future strengths and weaknesses to develop, communicate, and implement a shared mission, vision, and strategy, 2.5. And then provides strategic leadership, guidance, and support to the board and the organization, a 2.83. There's just one comment, and it says, the world has proven to us that we cannot plan for everything, but it is inspiring to see how Kelly and BATA are able to adapt and respond, for example, with assisting TCAPs. And that was one you recall, they were really short on drivers, and really she got us together real quickly and like, we gotta help, we gotta help. We're not overstaffed here either, but how can we incorporate our existing routes and assist them in assisting them with, so that parents didn't have to drive and the transportation could be provided, and it's been pretty successful. Q4 was on financial sustainability. There's 5 categories. 1, assures adequate control and accounting of all funds, including maintaining sound financial practices, 2.5. Develops reasonable budgets, communicates them to the board, and operates within budgetary limits, 2.67. Develops realistic, ambitious plans for acquiring funds and aggressively pursues new funding sources, 2.83. Oversees that programs and activities are developed, executed, modified, and dismantled to maximize mission impact, 2.33. And the last one in the financial sustainability, exhibits skill in problem solving, 2.8. So there were, I believe, 2 comments there regarding financial. This past year has been quite a master class in problem solving, not to mention going the extra miles to secure funding for the new building. And then our financial success speaks for her. Question 5 was on communication. There were 4 subcategories. Serves as an effective spokesperson, represents the organization well to its constituencies, including clients, members, patrons, other nonprofits, government agencies, elected officials, founders, and the general public, a 2.83. Manages communications with the media and the general public, 2.83. Projects a positive image as the executive director of the Public Transit Authority, 2.83. And the last one under communication, keeps the board informed and effectively communicates with them. So they were all at the meets up to exceeds expectations. 2 comments to support them. Communication works both ways. Unfortunately, there is no mechanism to present at present to capture how the board members communicate with Kelly, which would make this element more fair. And then always keeps us in a positive light, regardless of those who baselessly try to shine a negative light on us. And Q6 is on overall organizational performance. There were 3 subcategories: demonstrates quality of analysis and judgment related to progress and opportunities and need for changes. 2.5, forecast trends, responds to change and invites innovation. 2.67, and demonstrates and establishes a standard that BATA is known for providing the highest quality services that meet the needs and requirements of internal and external customers and stakeholders, a 2.5. There were 2 editorials on it. In the future, you may consider adding changing items each year to reflect challenges and opportunities. For example, 2024 could have a few questions related to the small urban conversion and the move to the new building. Great suggestion. I already have it in the binder for next year's, kind of what we did this year, and we did the same thing during COVID. Had some questions particular to that, and certainly will entertain any other ideas before the next evaluation if there's other topics or questions that we want to that you would like to modify. And then this was the additional measurables available for communications with board members. So the last one was areas or objectives you would like Kelly to focus on in the upcoming year. Have a better understanding of the fact that the organization is funded with 90% plus taxpayer dollars. The millage comes to mind. We'll have to probably spend $200,000 of taxpayer dollars to have a special election, since the next millage does not fall on the election year. I'm amazed at what Kelly brings to the organization. Even in the face of adversity, she rose to the challenge, remained poised, calm, and articulate. I can't wait to see what the future holds for both BATA and its leadership team. I'm hoping this next phase will bring creativity and new riders along the way onward. Make sure to build time for health and wellness in whatever form she finds most beneficial. And the last area or objective, long and short range opportunities for operational improvements to BATA staff. And then, so then what we do is take the total number of points that were achieved, which was 55.75, divided by the average of 66, what came up to 84.47. The max that we had established for merit based on performance is 3%. So taking that 84.4% of 3% would result in a 2.53%, if that's what you chose to do as far as a salary increase, and that would be effective on her anniversary date, which is January 27th. Any questions regarding the content of any of that? Like I said, we'd entertain for next year any revisions or areas that might need to be revised. And if not, there is a motion there.
So we would just insert 2.53%.
2.53, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do I have a motion from the BATA Board of Directors approving the 2023 performance review of Kelly Dunham and awarding a 2.53% salary increase based upon merit as provided in the performance review, effective on her anniversary date?
So moved. Support.
Roll call, if you would, please. Brittany?
John Somavilla.
Yes.
Robert Fudge.
Yes.
Brad Jewett.
Yes.
Jamie Kramer.
Yes.
Heather Harris Brady.
Yes.
Joe Underwood.
Yes.
Richard Cochran.
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you all for your feedback and your support. Looking forward to 2024.
I think our success speaks very well of you and your team. Becky and Eric, and Chris, and everybody.
We have a great team, very blessed.
You guys work well together. The drivers, the ones I've talked to, have nothing but admiration for you guys. They love their jobs. They love who their customers. I had a chat with one that wanted to give out candy canes and other things to his drivers. That's just the whole atmosphere there. I mean, when you walk in there, you can feel that it is a team
The millennials call it the vibe.
We have a good vibe.
Good vibe.
We do have a good vibe.
And it's just wonderful.
I would add to that, Richard, we had a new employee who stopped by my office one night this week and, he said, Chris, I just want to let you know, I went to punch in. I have not punched a time card in 35 years. He's been in time management and he said, when I was at the time clock, there were 8 or 10 drivers there. Without exception, every one of the drivers came up to me, said, if you need help with pre-tripping, I'm the guy for that. You need help with post-tripping, I'd be glad to help you with that. Do you want to come out and ride with me? I'm just headed out to wherever. He said every one of them came up to me and made me feel so welcome. So just going to share that. Good group of drivers.
Good job, guys.
Okay, we have under item 13F, which is the appointment of a new member to fill Heather's spot. John, do you want to just?
Yeah, 2 candidates were identified at the June Governance Committee meeting. Rebecca Benedict from Leland County and Wayne Schmidt as finalists for an at-large seat. Consensus from the committee was to recommend Wayne Schmidt to be appointed to the upcoming at-large seat vacancy effective January 1st, 2024.
Need a motion?
Yeah, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion. Support.
Or should we do a roll call or should we just?
I don't think you need a roll call.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to item 13G. Should we, well, the resolution, Brittany, why don't you read it and then I'll explain.
All right, Grand Traverse County Breach of Agreement Resolution, December 7, 2023. A resolution to declare that Grand Traverse County's proposed appointments to the BATA board would constitute a breach of the recently approved interlocal agreement and to authorize legal counsel to take appropriate responsive action. Whereas on August 15, 2023, Grand Traverse County, Leelanau County, and BATA entered into an interlocal agreement to define their respective rights, responsibilities, and obligations regarding the composition of the BATA Board of Directors, including the number of members, membership eligibility, and the appointment of the members of the agreement, and whereas the interlocal agreement was the product of months of negotiation and was intended to resolve an ongoing dispute regarding the composition of the board, and whereas during the negotiation process, representatives of both Leelanau County and BATA indicated that the negotiated agreement must include language providing, consistent with past practice, that no more than one county commissioner from each county could be appointed to or serve on the BATA board at any given time. Whereas the agreement incorporates this request by providing in section 3 that the BATA board shall exclude as an ex officio member one county commissioner from each county. And whereas on December 30th, 2023, a subcommittee of the Grand Traverse County Board of Commissioners formally recommended that 2 Grand Traverse County commissioners be simultaneously appointed to the BATA board for terms beginning in January, notwithstanding the language in section 3 of the agreement. Now therefore be it resolved that the subcommittee's recommended slate of appointments to the BATA board is contrary to the text and spirit of the recently approved agreement and would constitute a breach. Therefore, thereof, and further be it resolved that the BATA board respectfully requests that the Grand Traverse County Board of Commissioners reject the subcommittee's recommendation and appoint a slate of nominees to the BATA board that is consistent with the terms of the agreement. Further be it resolved that BATA's legal counsel at the law firm of Foster, Swift, Collins and Smith, PC, Foster Swift, is authorized and directed to initiate the dispute resolution process provided in Article 7 of the agreement. Further be it resolved that if the dispute resolution process is unsuccessful in resolving the dispute within 30 days, Foster Swift is authorized and directed to file a lawsuit against Grand Traverse County seeking appropriate relief.
Yeah, we were notified yesterday that the county had reconvened the interview process to the BATA board applicants. However, we don't know yet if they're going to take any different action regarding the action already taken. So it's important to convey our position on the existing action which is the purpose of this resolution. BATA has received a legal opinion from its general counsel that according to the Roberts Rules of Order, a member should not vote on a matter in which they have a direct personal or pecuniary interest not common to the other members of the organization. So, with that, do I have a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
So moved.
Do I have support?
Support.
Discussion.
I have a question. So Grand Traverse County hasn't done any action.
Right.
So we're doing a resolution for something they have not done. Am I understanding this
That's
correctly?
correct. There's no action
Well, the
taken
committee
yet
passed a resolution.
The past resolution, but there was no formal vote by the
by the full board.
full
It's a-
board.
just
So
a
they have not
recommendation.
actually appointed anybody to
Not
continue.
after this time
Okay.
is correct.
Well,
So I'm gonna vote no, because they haven't done anything, so I'm not
Well,
gonna
this
do a
is that
resolution.
they're looking to, resolve the dispute within.
If they
30
had
days.
voted their slate, it's different than if they haven't voted their slate. So I'm not gonna support this because they haven't done an official action for this board. So that's just my point.
The recommendation by ad hoc is not a formal,
Yeah.
it's not formal. It has to come from a full board before it's formal. There's nothing formal at all yet. There's no appointments made. There's nothing.
I think the pertinent verbiage here is that we're asking respectfully to reject the subcommittee's recommendation. That's in the third paragraph from the bottom. So that's really the verbiage that pertains to where we sit at this present time. And then the rest of it just says, if the recommendation is not rejected and it proceeds, then it goes into the dispute resolution process as outlined in the agreement.
Yeah, it's a protective measure. And,
That's all the question.
okay. Brittany, roll call vote, if you would, please.
John Sommerville,
Yes.
Robert Bush,
Yes.
Brad Hewitt,
No.
Jamie Kramer,
Yes,
Heather Harris Brady,
Yes.
Joe Underwood,
No.
Richard Cochran.
Yes. Motion carries. Board discussion item. I don't think we really have anything. Second public comment. If not, we have an open floor for director comments.
I'd just like to say thank you again. I'll miss these meetings.
That's okay.
No, no, anyway, thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve BATA. I'm an at-large member. I had to be approved by the board that was sitting each time, and so I appreciate your faith in me and the chance to serve the community. Thank you.
I like clapping.
I have something. I just wanted to share with the board, this past Monday, a few of us from BATA met with a representative from the Veterans Employment Services. We recently hired a veteran to be a driver to start with our class on December 18th. As a result of that, that brings us to an active veteran status of 14 drivers who are, excuse me, 14 veterans who are drivers, dispatchers, and mechanics. So, and admin. So we have 14 now, and as a result of that, they presented us with a certificate of appreciation for BATA's commitment to hiring and supporting Michigan veterans. And they gave us a plaque that we will proudly display with our veterans pictures at BATA on Cass Road. We also then stayed, we took our pictures and things, and it's going to be in the veterans newsletter. And then we met for quite a long time with them, not just about the hiring, but they presented us with 4 or 5 different programs that are available, that we can look into and see if they're available for BATA, as well as a number of different resources that are available for our employees who are veterans. So it was a really good meeting. They've got some new people over there, and we're glad we made the phone call to them about, and looking forward to continuing to hire veterans at BATA. So we just wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, thank you.
As a veteran, I appreciate that.
Brittany, do you need board members to sign a document? Yeah, okay. Hopefully that gets circulated before people leave.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other, or do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
I'll move.
Where's my favorite?
Thank you, everybody.